Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's Thursday, July 15th. It's 12:27 p.m. Gonna have a roll call.
Okay, so we have Mr. Jose Zuniga. He's not here as of right now. Oscar Lopez,
Here.
George Gonzalez,
Present.
Eva Montoya,
Present.
and Juan Gonzalez. He's also not here as of right now.
Vice Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, we're gonna go over the approval of the minutes for May 13th, 2021. If you could review them and see if you have any comments. Okay, approved by Jorge Gonzalez and second by Eva Montoya. Next item on the agenda is the citizens' comments. And we have two citizens that are present.
These are the two citizens that have submitted.
Okay, and we have Guadalupe Leija and Maria
Guadalupe Lane.
Guadalupe Leija and Maria G. Cunningham.
Si gustan, tienen 3 minutos cada persona de hablar de sus cualquier comentario que quieran dar.
Cada persona.
Si quieren comenzar.
Quiere Miss Leija que yo hable por ella.
Ok.
El problema que Miss Leija tiene es que ella, ¿cómo se llama la enfermedad que tiene usted en los ojos?
Aquí tengo mi medicina.
Tiene enfermedad de los ojos
Sí.
y está tomando medicina. Entonces el aire acondicionado, ¿cómo se llama la enfermedad que tiene en los ojos? Glaucoma. Entonces el aire acondicionado, ella vive en su cuarto, es nomás un cuarto. Entonces aquí enfrente está del aire acondicionado y está saliendo tierra. Ella compró un filtro del aire y en 3 días ya estaba negro el filtro. Yo le compré, no es que sea metiche, la gente me pregunta y yo no puedo decir que no a nadie cuando me pide un favor. Yo fui a Lowe's, a Home Depot y le compré unos lentes, de esos lentes que usan en los talleres que completamente cubren los ojos. Le compré los lentes, le compré gasa para cubrir ese intake del aire, pero se puso negro en una semana. Entonces, y ella, mi Sarita hace lo que puede, pero me imagino que los demás lo van a tener que hacer ustedes, que son los que mandan, yo creo, tienen más poder en el edificio. Y que vive conmigo mi hijo es retardado. Mi hijo affective, tiene muchos problemas. Su cuarto de mi hijo está pegado con el de ella. El aire acondicionado, su cuarto de mi hijo es helado. Mi cuarto está enseguida de él y mi cuarto es más caliente. Mi cuarto no se enfría porque todo el aire entra al cuarto de mi hijo. Entonces pueden estar limpiando aquí en este lado y se van a limpiar allá y ya está lleno de tierra acá. Entonces yo tengo filtro del aire en el cuarto de mi hijo y tengo filtro en el cuarto mío. Mi Sarita les va a decir que yo no los molesto para nada, no estoy a friegue y friegue con ellos para nada, solo cuando es muy importante. Si algo yo lo puedo arreglar, yo lo arreglo. Y con los vecinos me piden un favor, yo con mucho gusto lo hago y hasta donde puedo. Usted lo sabe. Y en este caso, ella, miren los ojos rojos llorando, porque tiene glaucoma, tiene su medicina que le da el doctor y todo, pero esa tierra, es terrible la tierra que sale de ahí. Yo me quedé asombrada. Ella compró un filtro y lo puso en el filtro, entonces le digo, ay, no, ese filtro está muy grueso. Dice, mire, Lupita, está saliendo por otro lado. Comenzó a salir el aire por todas las rendijas del cuarto, por el baño, por allá, por el cuarto, por acá. O sea que el aire se regó por todo lo que es el techo del cuarto y comenzó a salir por todas las rendijas. Y me quedé asombrada, le digo, la cinta scotch donde pegaron, llena de tierra y de debris, lo que está. Le digo, no, le digo, quite ese filtro, vamos a quitarlo, y le quité el filtro. Le dije, lo que vamos a hacer es tener que hablar con los mayores, gente que tiene más dominio en esta situación, porque van a tener que meter una vacuum, pienso yo, porque ya estoy vieja, yo he visto más, y hay unos que limpian los tubos, los ducts del aire acondicionado, y pienso que eso es lo que necesitan. Y esto me recuerda a mi problema que tengo yo con mi hijo, que él tiene sleep apnea y yo tengo asma, y tenemos ese problema nosotros con el aire, aunque no es mayor como el de ella. Eso es el problema que tenemos, nada más.
Son aparatos de ventana. ¿De
No,
wind?
sir,
central.
it's individualized central air,
Sí, ya le-
and each unit has their own central air. So,
De un report.
it's the AC filters are changed, AC. ¿Su aire trabaja bien? ¿Está frío? ¿El cuarto está calientito cuando debe de estar
frío, está muy
calientito?
bueno, así, tengo 7.5.
Okay, I mean, her AC is working, so I don't know what to say.
Has a professional ever been asked to, like a contractor ever been asked to evaluate what can be done in these cases? Like, or is there such thing as washing a unit or washing the ducts? Or has that ever been?
They're connected to the cooler, to the chiller, so I would need to find out because it's a complex system. Yeah, it's a chiller system.
Is theirs the only unit that has that problem? I mean,
This is the only
yeah.
unit, this is the only unit I hear with
Out
this
of-
problem.
out of everyone.
Yes. ¿Su cuarto también, Miss Cunningham, se
El
llena
cuarto
de tierra?
sale mucha tierra, no como el de ella,
Ajá.
no como el de ella, mucha tierra, especialmente en el cuarto de mi hijo. Porque ahí es donde parece como que parece como que está tapado. Porque hay yo tengo dos recámaras, o hay
Let me
dos
clarify.
unidades.
She lives in a studio apartment. It has one
One.
unit and it has one vent.
Ajá.
One vent. So,
Y el
ajá.
aire acondicionado de mi unidad se supone que va a enfriar las recámaras, el de mi hijo y el mío. Enfría mucho el de mi hijo, pero muy poquito el mío. O sea que está como tapado o algo.
What floor are they on?
On the fourth floor. And both of them are on the fourth floor. So,
En the same corner.
basically the same corner. You're 409 and she's 407, like right next to you.
Y si
yes.
se lo ha mencionado a Ms.
Ella me
Oh,
había-
she has worked,
Ella me
Pedro
había
is gonna check
mencionado,
it.
ella me había mencionado about the filter, so my maintenance tech goes and changes the filter. And then it's been happening more often, but to the extent of her severe eye thing,
But has your maintenance crew detected that they've had to change it more often? Like, does it really come out that dirty? ¿Sale muy sucio?
not the actual filter from the AC.
Can somebody clean the ducts and see if that helps?
We can
We
call.
can call.
We call and
We
get
can
guys
call,
to
yeah, definitely.
come and take a look at it. They're
I would do that just to,
Yeah,
to show them that
absolutely.
we're
We'll
serious.
let you all
Yeah.
know what they find.
Like a second
Sí,
opinion
sí,
type of
sí,
thing.
ajá.
And
do they typically work with the chiller system?
They're familiar, well, they do, in this case, it would be the ducts that would eventually be cleaned. And if not, we've got
Whatever, yeah.
We can
When they of being but this bad, so
What I think is that the debris is like in the tube, and when the air comes out, that's my personal opinion. I know nothing about air conditioning or anything, okay? But what I think is that the debris is like in the duct or whatever the air,
Yeah,
the tube where it's gonna come out, and when the air comes out, it pushes that debris out. Is what I think.
oh, I'm thinking duct, como dices.
Just to take a look at
Yeah,
it.
if we can
and
get
see what
somebody
they
to
determine.
look at the ducts
I
and maybe
will.
clean
And
it.
that is not going to go into the filter, because when I put the gauze, you know, I bought the package of gauze at Walmart, and I stuck it on the
On the vent.
on the vent.
Not
It
where
was
the
black.
AC is.
It was black in 3 days, so it's coming out of the hole in there.
The
The
actual
debris,
duct.
the debris and the stuff is coming out of there.
Yeah, I think the technician needs to see that, needs to see that,
Agreed,
so
yeah.
that he can
Absolutely.
Mhm.
see what,
Because we appreciate you bringing those comments
Thank you.
to us.
Thank you.
Vamos a llamar a alguien para que vaya a checar eso.
Justo ahí, Sarita.
Yo
Y
sé.
le he dicho siempre.
Estamos
muy
contentos
Tengo 11
nosotros.
años de vivir con ustedes y estoy bien contenta. Cada vez que le voy a dar una queja, ay, Diosito.
No, pero yo le escucho y
Yo
yo
te
sé.
escucho y
Yo
me
sé.
dice.
Ajá.
A mí me da pena también.
Ese
y yo
día
digo,
le
"Ay,
toqué
Sarita,
porque ya estaba-
discúlpeme, pero fíjese que esto está pasando, pero...
we'll check.
No, y vamos a checar y vamos a ver
Muchas
qué es lo que se
gracias.
puede hacer.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
a todos
Muchas
ustedes.
gracias por su atención.
Gracias, gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Que estén bien.
Gracias, que pasen
Gracias.
buenas
Hasta
tardes.
luego.
Pasen buenas tardes.
Con permiso.
Que tengan buen día.
Ustedes también.
Véngase.
Porque me siento y no me
Véngase.
puedo mover. Gracias. No, me siento y no puedo levantar, pero no sé.
Ahorita cierro. La cierra usted.
Sí.
Dormí también.
Allá vamos todos.
Corriendo.
Okay.
So it's just like a maintenance thing?
Yeah, but I think this is, like you suggested, call somebody to come check the duct and maybe it needs to be cleaned out or something, but
I'm glad
this
it's
is the
just,
only
just
resident I've
them
gotten this.
out of all the other ones, so.
Okay. So the next item is a treasurer's report.
Okay, so, you have in the packet your, bank statement from Fountain Bank, and, just, you know, your ending balance is 85,637 with 91 cents. Is there any questions?
Looks good. Next item is the finance operation and status report by Caxton Real Estate Service. With discussion and possible action on Hamilton Apartments repairs, improvements, leases, operations, and management.
Okay, you have the variance report in your file. As you can see, variance for income is negative, and the reason for that variance is we just got another rental increase in May 16, so
We raised the rent?
they raised that. The state sends us a rate increase. Now, is it something that we wanna do, raise the rents, because I didn't include a raise in your package. The state increased the rents, and I brought my draft.
Well, the state increases the allowable
The
rents.
allowable
Right,
rents,
So it's up
correct,
to the
yeah.
board and it's up to the, well, management and the
And
board
board,
to
correct.
determine if you all wanna increase it or keep it the same. So I guess what, the reason you're saying is that your variance is based on the increase being approved? Is
So
that why
it
it's-
automatically gets, whenever the increase comes out from the state, we automatically load it in the system, so the gross potential rent increases even though the actual rent hasn't, so you're gonna see that variance, and that's why, it's offset because of that. That's really why.
And then there's different parts to that, right? So one, it would be also, you have a lot of, leases that are current with either Section 8 or even with the
Or with
City
you
of
all,
Laredo
yes. Mhm.
tenant-based rental assistance program, so you would have to ask those programs if the rent increase is within their allowable.
Correct.
And then they would have to approve it, and then
Correct.
it doesn't go into effect until the lease gets renewed.
Correct.
So those are other factors.
So we have not increased the rents, right? Or are they paying more?
They've been loaded into the system,
But
but
we're
we
not
have
actually
not
in charge.
increased
Because
the
with COVID and
residents.
everything going on.
Correct,
And
correct,
it looks real bad if we're doing that to,
Yes.
especially to the elderly.
correct. So that's kind of offsets, and that's why we have that, what we call loss to lease. You know, that's why there's that variance. So there's a loss to lease, and that's because the rents haven't been increased to the tenants. Everything else, as you can see, total repairs and maintenance, monthly service, total utilities, we're saving a lot on the electricity, and that's the plan that you all negotiated with the city, so that's saving us a lot on electricity. Adam Promotion, this is where we are negative again, and this is because what we have in place to increase our occupancy. We have Facebook posting through Sprout, we have apartments.com, and then we have the Refer Your Neighbor, which is my residence, and that seems to be what works best at our site. We offer an incentive, a $50 Walmart card, HEB card, and then I have some lady referring all her boyfriends. No, just kidding. No, true.
So the elderly go into Facebook and
Yes.
they're better at it
They're
than-
family members. Basically, their family members are the ones that are looking for apartments for them. They go in, they check, they call, we screen, we get them in, they lease, and that's what's been helping. Either word of mouth from my current residents or the Facebook postings from Sprout. And apartments.com helped a lot. They were sending a lot of traffic my way. It worked a little differently because apartments.com cater a lot to the not
Just your
regular conventional properties. So I was getting calls that didn't meet our criteria, meaning they made more income. I think I even referred some to your department because I know you were trying to lease up the convent space, and I know your income, I don't know if it's same as ours or.
It's 80%.
Oh, okay, then it's a little higher. Oh, it's a little higher, yeah.
80.
Okay, it's a little higher, so, whoever maybe I thought would qualify for convent, maybe call Jenny, she maybe can help you. There's another apartment complex opening up. So that's what we put in place as far as Adam Promotion. With that, year to date, I have had 25 leases, but I've lost 15 people, so.
Did we get people that pass? They're
Past
passing?
nursing home, only 2 of my residents actually have transferred over to convent, so, I mean, that's been good. But yes, either they passed nursing home or COVID, a lot of the family members took them back home. Went to live with the son, went to live with the daughter, so that's what that's why they leave. That I just wanted to say that, yes, we would have been up to 96%, but the month of June, I lost 5.
So we're currently.
6, sorry.
How many are not rented right now?
13.
Do you have a waiting list?
Yes, I do.
How many people are?
Yes, I do. I have about, as of yesterday, I have about, it's minimal, 7 people. And I was trying to explain to Melissa, my waiting list it's a little, I tell her that I get calls, I screen. Once I let them know what I need from them, once they come to Hamilton, they're ready to lease. They're not gonna go on a waiting list because they're gonna lease. So that's what makes it a little hard for me to kind of my waiting list is mainly for my transfers. My transfers that wanted the 2 bedrooms that either lost a spouse and want to go to a smaller unit, or the studio apartments that want to go to a 1 bedroom. That's my waiting list. That's what I work off.
So it's the internal waiting list that you have?
Yes, yes.
Because you don't technically have anybody waiting for the available unit. I think that's what you're
Exactly,
saying, right?
yes.
Especially those studios.
Especially
you don't
the
technically
studios,
have
yes.
anybody waiting for
Correct.
them. So you don't have a waiting list for that floor plan specifically.
Correct.
So when you say that you're doing this marketing and then you list here and you advertise there and you get referrals, you get calls, so what happens to those people that are coming or they're applying from outside? Are they not, I mean, I know you say that they don't qualify, but none of them
No.
qualify where you can have some, people occupying those 13 units?
Once they get screened and once they apply, they either rent, so they're already my tenant, or on very rare occasions, they don't qualify because they are over income, they didn't disclose something, they didn't disclose that they got teacher's retirement or they get VA, so they make too much money and they're disqualified. So they can't even go on the waiting list if they don't qualify.
So right now, actively, could you say that if there's people that I need to screen for to see if they qualify for this 13, or you don't have any?
Yes, I have
any
people
or any applicants right now?
I don't have
that are-
applicants, but I have people I can call and screen, and once they say, okay, no, I'm not interested anymore, or no, I leased at a different place, or yes, I'll come in to see you. I guarantee you that once they come in and I tell them what they need, they're gonna lease.
And they all start at the beginning of the month?
But yes, it's very rare. I have one starting today, 15, that's moving in today. But mainly they start at the beginning of the month,
So
correct?
that person will only pay for half of the month?
Yes.
So
We'll
how actively-
We'll prorate the rent, yeah.
So how actively do you call these people? I mean, I'm trying to understand, because, I mean, we've had vacancies, and I know that we're trying to avoid having too many units
Mhm.
unoccupied, because obviously that's loss of revenue.
Mhm.
So we've gone from, 92, now we're at, I mean, we went from 95, we go up to 92, and it seems like we always have units out there. And my understanding, there's people that need to come in, but I guess, so just to kind of like understand, so there, right now.
This is an active thing. I work, my marketing, well, I call it marketing, but it's mainly calls, and not only to people that, I have, that I either got referred to me, or I call, for, I follow up. Now, I'm just saying, I follow up with possible prospects that somebody referred over, I call them, I screen, but it's a daily thing,
So these people that you have that right now, they're waiting to be moved to a smaller unit
Mhm.
or to a studio.
Mhm.
You don't have anything available from those 16 units that you have?
And they're waiting to confirm if they are gonna accept. I have somebody wanting to transfer from a one bedroom to a 2-bedroom, which is convenient to us because I can charge more rent for the 2-bedroom. And they're gonna just check with their family members to see if, okay, they're gonna take it or not. Then we do the paperwork, send it to compliance. They already live there, so it's easier to get approved, and then they transfer over. And it'll be at the beginning of the month. They
But those
always
are
do.
not really helping us.
They're not gonna help us.
Fill
Those are, no.
vacancies, yeah.
It'll help us collect more rent, but it won't help us in the numbers, correct?
So
I think it's
most,
go ahead, sorry.
most of the vacancies that she's got are for the studio, the 279 square foot unit. A lot of these people, because we talk about it often, are wanting a larger unit, either the larger studio, or they want the 1-bedroom, or they want the 2-bedroom. So, for example, this one that's gonna transfer, if she takes the 2-bedroom, it won't last the 1-bedroom vacant for very long, because somebody's gonna want it, either somebody from outside the street coming in to lease it, versus the studio that are 279, and those are the ones that we have talked about setting a special on that one. So the rent, let's say it's $400. Okay, we're not gonna lease it for $400. On these particular Studio A's, we're gonna lease them for $300 and see if they lease, because we also have to take into consideration what their funds are. If they don't come with any type of help, their social security might be $500. So they can't pay $400.
The minimum is usually 800.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
750, that's what I say my average is.
So that's how we're
Mhm.
kind of working the list in some of the units that are available as
So do you have
well.
the breakdown, that's, of the 16 units, what is available right now in terms of, like Sonia's saying, there are the small studios?
6 of them are the studios. I'm not sure if they're small or large studios, but I know 6 of your vacants are studios.
3 or 2 bedrooms, and the rest are.
Maybe you can do that when we meet, like, give us a breakdown of
Sure, the availability.
how many are
Absolutely.
available
The availability and how many,
which ones they are.
yes.
So that every time we meet, we know what.
Yes.
what's going on.
No, well, what I'm trying to do is like, because it seems like we always have vacancies, we, like, why? I mean, out there, I understand that people are looking to move in places like this. And then what are we doing to move it faster to this unit?
Yeah.
It's an ongoing, you're always gonna be, like she said, it's an active piece of what we do on a daily. She's gonna have to continue to actively try to, whether it's work the leads that we have, work the waiting list, or just trying to gain new prospects, because you're always gonna have either an unanticipated vacancy, maybe somebody that passes away, or somebody that has to go with family for, they need additional care. That's always gonna be ongoing in this kind of senior environment. You may have your high peaks where you get to the 96 to 97 and it's great, but then you might have a bad month where, you have a couple people that passed away and it's just, it's nothing that's planned, right? So it's always gonna have to be ongoing. The marketing always has to be ongoing, always searching for prospects has to be ongoing, otherwise, you won't stay occupied. She's not that far off from her budgeted occupancy. So it's just a matter of thinking outside the box with these 6 units, because I think what Sarah explained to me earlier is like the 2 internally that wants to transfer, and if they do, that 1 bedroom will go quickly. I think it's the studios that we probably just need to brainstorm a little bit more on how we can get those filled. One of the things I mentioned to the girls earlier was maybe possibly setting one of them up as a model, and just because I think when people walk in and they see a small unit, they can't visualize how could I live in this space, right? And we're actually in our industry right now, we're doing a lot of those micro units, and they're going like hotcakes, but the key is showing them how it's set up, right? So showing them how their bed can be placed, showing them how they can have their closet, their TV, whether it's a recliner, whatever it is, but maybe setting one of those up as a model so they can visualize, yeah, I actually can live in this space, it's doable. That might be an option that we can do, that might help us get those 6 off the market. And then I'll just also touch on the advertising piece, just to go back a little bit. A lot of that online, the social media, the Facebook, all that, it's really geared more towards the adult child. That's really who you're marketing to, because they're the ones that are picking up the phone and calling for their parents. They're the ones that are scrolling on social media at night. So when we post those ads and everything that we do, we know that we're focusing more towards the adult child versus the actual senior.
I know we've discussed in the maybe gets more focused, even putting up a sign outside we're renting, because a lot of people, the downtown, this is what we see, right? Our elderly, and just to give you, and I know the board does run some housing programs or housing. So we have 125 people on a waiting list that is wanting to get our assistance. Right now, the assistance to live downtown is very geared toward the Hamilton, because there's the only landlords that are willing to work with the program. So with that rental assistance, there's 120 people. So whenever there's a vacancy, we only have vouchers to help up to 100 people, sort of something like the housing authority. So we have 6. I know sometimes, I think what the board is concerned is, why has it stayed at 13? For a long time, we were all now, the city has taken apart building more affordable housing in the downtown, and we lease them up, and those don't have assistance tied to. Board hears about success stories in other units right here in the downtown, so I think that's their concern. Why? But I think that's a good idea of modeled after the Hamilton, small studio apartments, and they're getting rented with no assistance on them either.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely a new trend, that smaller space, because that's honestly what people can afford right now. That they're going into a smaller space because that's all they can afford. But they're coming from a larger space, and it's all mental. It's just showing them, how can you live in this smaller space? Well, let us show you how you can do it. So I think that actually would be something good to do here. I think it would help you lease those units faster than we are. We could probably just put something together as far as when we go back, we'll go walk it. Well, we could probably just put something together as far as what furniture pieces we suggest and an estimate of what that looks like. We do a lot of models and stuff internally, so we can put something together as far as a price and then present that to you guys. But I think that would be something that would be helpful here.
And for next meeting, Sarah, if you can just go ahead and when you present us the vacancy,
breakdown?
if you can give us the breakdown as to what units and what they consist of, either 1 studio or 2 bedrooms, and also what the rent, if you can update us And
On the
on
rent,
each
okay.
unit that is vacant?
Yes, of
What is the
course.
rent?
Are you able to collect from the people that
The unit
leave,
number
leave,
too?
Oh, from that leave?
and
Very-
owe us because like,
it's
they're
very
showing a
rare.
variance due to tenants moving out.
It's very rare that they leave with a balance on their account, and I think the one I had was, she went in the hospital, she didn't pay her rent, she was thinking she was gonna come back home, she was transferred to the nursing home from the hospital, so that leaves them with that balance. It's very rare, maybe the family, if the family's gonna transfer them over to the nursing home, they always try to do it to fulfill the lease, and then, any deposits or whatever, either get applied to whatever damages they did to the unit, or they didn't turn in keys, or, et cetera, then that they try to leave with, everything at a zero balance. It's very rare that they do.
And if you can add to that report of the number of vacancies,
Mm-hmm.
the unit, what they consist of, and the unit number and the rent, and how long have they been vacant for?
Oh, okay.
So what you could probably just do is
Availability.
pull the availability, because that has all that information and attach it
Exactly.
to this, yeah.
Yeah, it does. It tells you the days.
Yeah, and I think this increase happened only this past year, right? That
It
increase.
just happened in May.
Typically, yeah, it typically happens every
Every-
year. I haven't seen a year here lately that they haven't implemented an increase, but it's typically around the May, June area that the
Correct.
state puts out those rents.
So you're talking about the increase in the vacancy or increase in the rent?
And the vacancies.
Oh, and the vacancies.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the
Yeah, sorry.
rents.
And the vacancies, because we've been fortunate prior to COVID that we would always be at 96, 97. There's trends, holidays, November, December, I lose residents. That's when we drop to the low 90s. We had never dropped to the 80s until COVID situation. So that made it a little difficult to pick up. But I thought I was getting there when I got to 96, and then, yeah, and then I had to kind of leave, so yeah.
What about improvements? What improvements are you working on?
Improvements,
Are there any improvements that we're gonna work on, or?
we want to work on the floors, on the carpet, delete those carpets from the halls and do the planking. That is internally, I mean, in the building, they need to be replaced, so.
Do we have money for that?
I don't know. Do you have a budgeted?
It's not in the budget, but we've got a lot of savings on the regular floors for the units that may not need to be replaced, so it kind of offsets itself. But we're pending the quote, because we're getting another vendor to give us a better quote for those floors, and we'll do one floor now and then wait 3 months and do another floor and so on.
Because you have done some floors, right?
Yes, we have done some. We did 12, 11, and 6. So we
So
still
you've
have,
only done 3?
we've only done 3.
To plan. Yes.
Okay.
And prior to that, it had the carpet tiles, which are not original to the Hamilton.
No,
That
no.
floor is long gone. These are about maybe 5, 6 years old carpets.
Yeah.
They're not super old.
Okay.
There's been some issues with the elevator. I just wanted for you to.
Not recently, don't jinx it.
Well, no, you sent something, yeah, you all sent
Yes.
something.
It was back in May, no?
Well, yeah, so but I think you haven't advised the board.
Has it been resolved then, or what?
Oh, yeah, it's
Get resolved right away.
right
We have a
away.
vendor
We
here.
have the Otis, the vendor that comes in, and they service the elevator. The time it went out, it was, and it was just one elevator, one was working. Some rails or something that needed to get replaced, and then another one, some relays that needed to get replaced, so yeah,
What was happening with it? Was it stopping?
it was stopping. It would stop, take forever to move, and it would get to the lobby, open doors, and it would move from there, so. No entrapments, thank God, it was just that, it was stopping.
Okay, I wanted to go back to the treasurer's report. Do we need an action there to approve?
Yeah, you can motion to approve it.
Okay, so,
Sometimes we do.
yeah, so we have a motion to approve as presented.
I move that we approve it as presented.
That's it.
Okay, approved by Jorge Gonzalez and a second by Eva Montoya.
Everybody's in favor?
Motion carried. Okay. So the update on the leases.
Commercial, yeah, where are we with the
Leases.
commercial lease?
The commercial leases, from Mr. Cristobal, nothing yet. And I proposed and I sent him an email on our last meeting that the board was even considering a shorter term lease.
No.
No hits yet, no. Mhm.
Yes, like I think we discussed 12 months, right?
12 months, and then even, I sent him an email, I have it here. That the board, difficulty getting prospects to commit to a long-term lease, the board recommended I reach out to you and advise you that they are willing to accept a 1-year lease due to the current COVID situation. They said they are even open to negotiation of maybe even a 6-month lease. I think someone had said it. Nothing.
Did he not reply at all, or?
He didn't
we haven't
reply.
had it?
Do you wanna put in a restaurant, or is it a restaurant?
The board said it had to stay as a restaurant. I do have I have a lead right now. Mr. Pina, the resident that leases, the other 2 commercial spaces, asked what was the rent for the space. And I went ahead and told him, and then I asked him, why was he interested? Of course I got excited, right? And he's like, yes, but does it have to be a restaurant? I'm like, I think the board is wanting it to remain a restaurant. I go, what do you wanna do with this space? He said, I was thinking of a grocery store. So I told him to present something, to give me something in writing with his what he wants to pay in rent, and then I would turn around and present it to you also. I don't know how you would feel about a grocery store in lieu of a restaurant.
Brings in money.
It's gonna be the rent.
I mean, for them to give us a solid proposal.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll follow up
If you-
with him,
yeah.
because I did tell him, I go, give me something in writing on your proposed
Since it has
rent.
gas and whatever, we prefer a restaurant, but if somebody wants to rent it, present it and then we'll look at it. It's better than
Okay.
it deteriorating and stay on.
It's been a year and a half, no, it's gonna be 2 years.
And how many more leases are there, the commercial way?
I think
Is
it's
that the only one?
It's
just your own, yeah.
If
That's
he would commit to the lease, he would end up leasing 3 of the spaces, and just Mr. Science would lease the Western Union space.
See if we
It's a
can,
deal for
yeah, see if we can commit.
Okay, perfect,
No,
okay,
no, no,
good to hear.
I mean-
Mhm.
I think
Did he mention how long he said?
No, he has a partner, so he wanted to talk it over with the partner and see, okay, well, this is how much we wanna pay, this is what we wanna do, this is how many employees, et cetera. So I told him, present something to me, and I will in turn email Tina right away with the proposal, and we can take it from there.
One other piece of business that I think we should look at is, look at maybe letting the city run the Hamilton instead of us as a board. Look at the possibility of exploring if the city would consider doing that. They have more of an expertise, and might be time to look at that and see if the city would consider doing
Do you wanna put that in the form of a
that.
motion?
I move that we do that. At least explore the possibility of doing it
Okay.
and see what they come back with. See if they would wanna do it.
I'll definitely bring that up to management and our legal department and see what options we can present to the board on how that, could transition or how that would work.
Because that's what they do, they're experts at that, so, I don't know. Just an idea.
Okay, next item, discussion with possible action on the upcoming renewal.
Oh, sorry, was there a second to that motion? Second, all in favor?
Next item is a discussion with possible action on the upcoming renewal of annual Hamilton property insurance policy and ratification of GL and umbrella liability insurance renewal.
it's already been quoted and
Correct.
done, right?
Yes, so, there was a quote that was given, that was gonna expire, so, I think, Mr. Pepe Zuniga reviewed it, a few of you might have given me some comments, so we went ahead and Capstone went ahead and renewed it. We would just want ratification from the board in the form of a motion that, and they can give you more information
No, I
on
will
what was
tell,
the renewal.
I will tell you that I tried to quote it también, and there were not a lot of companies that wanna quote big
It's been
big
a
buildings
tough-
like that.
tough
And so, I think we should stay with what we got. I know that
Yeah.
the property's coming up in November, we can look at that and maybe see if somebody else wants to do that. But for what you got, I think we should just do it and move on. So I move that we approve, the quotes that they got and use the vendor that they came up with and that they're recommending.
I second.
Okay, approved by Joaquin Gonzalez and second by Eva Montoya.
That was a renewal date of what? Was it June? It was in June?
June 10th.
June 10th, so it's already
It's been renewed.
been renewed.
It's been renewed, yeah,
It's been
until
renewed.
2022, yeah.
We're just making it official. Okay, thank you.
You always get notified, right, in advance?
Sorry?
You always get notified in advance?
Yes, I forward you as soon as as Capstone sends me a notification, I try forwarding it to the board. Sometimes it doesn't make the agenda, I would like for it to make the agenda, it shouldn't be on me to notify the board, it should be, maybe, the Capstone should always bring it to you, in the form of, the conversation, yeah.
The quotes are only good for 30 days, so
Right.
you can't
We
do
can't
it way
do
in
it.
advance, but at least you gotta give us and
But
anybody
I
else that wants to
start,
quote at least 30 days.
30 days.
we meet every 2 months, right? So you know when the next meeting is, if something's gonna come up,
If it's in
let
that
the
window.
board
Let the
know.
board know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which now you have a calendar reminder, I think I included the board also, one set for May for the expiration in June,
Okay,
and then one set in August for the expiration in September.
okay.
So
So
you can
you all should
expect
have a calendar
Yeah.
reminder as well.
So you'll-
So,
That's fine.
so we'll also make a note if it's, is it, I'm not sure if it's consistent every 2 months.
There's a
the
yearly,
meetings?
there's a yearly calendar that gets voted on at the
Got it.
beginning of the year.
Okay, so if the meeting's in April, we'll make sure to bring that up to your attention, just so it's on your mind.
Like, just for an example, the next meeting is scheduled for, I know there was a change this week, but, the next meeting is usually Wednesdays, noon, it's September 8th.
Got it.
So that might be a good window for you all to mention the expiration, because I believe there's an expiration of September.
But you need 30 days
Yeah.
to look into it in August.
No, well, they're tasked with looking into it, they're tasked with bringing it to the board before,
Prior
you
to
know.
the meeting.
Yeah, the umbrella expires September 10th.
Yeah,
So you would have, actually,
In
by
July.
then, have something they can vote on. That's can you get this approved? Well, that's kind of hard because everyone.
It's already done.
Yes, or sometimes there's not enough time to let the board members, and they're not supposed to vote, they're not supposed to discuss anything in a
Unless it's
meeting.
not in a meeting.
Correct.
Got it.
So ideally.
So that's
try
a
to-
challenge, yeah.
Try to figure out some way that you all can, or ask for a special meeting. I mean, you all can request a special meeting, I've mentioned this
That's a
before.
good idea.
I've mentioned that before, but it shouldn't fall on staff to try to find them to figure. if
So which
there's
is
an
which is the next one that's coming up?
So it's the general liability, I believe, that's I'm sorry, no,
No.
it's the property.
The property's in November, no?
The property,
September.
September 10th is when it expires.
Okay.
Give us a quote in advance, it has to be within that 30-day window. So what I feel would make sense would be to call for a special meeting so that we can make sure that we present it
Could I
in
get a
that
copy
time.
of the actual policy?
Yeah, we can, I don't know if you have a copy, but we
Yeah.
can certainly send one over to
So
you.
I'd like to get a copy so
Sure.
so that myself or whoever else wants to quote and look at it can look at it.
Sure.
So right now, so right now, they're scheduled to have the meeting September 8th.
Okay.
If you already feel that there's a better date for that, the board can vote on changing the date.
Yeah, because of that.
I just want a copy of the policy so to see if there's
Well,
anybody out there that
it's
can.
Well,
Save
they're
us.
talking about bringing it actually.
To the,
well,
to
have
the,
to look at that.
well, until
September 8th might be too late.
But it has to be
September the 8th
within
is,
30
it renews on the
days.
10th,
So
so.
it has to be
Yeah,
after
yeah,
August
definitely
8th.
before.
So maybe
You know,
we can, or
That's what I'm saying.
So
Or we- in the middle of
August
August.
September 10th.
Uh-huh, okay.
so yeah, so maybe
Maybe mid-August.
maybe suggesting a mid-August meeting.
Yeah.
We can pull our
Yeah.
board.
That's a good idea, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would work well.
All right,
Okay, so we have an approval on this,
on the insurance, we're
insurance
good.
renewal.
We're good.
Okay, any new business for discussion?
No,
No.
we don't have anything, right, no new business,
No.
anything that the board has?
No.
Okay, so, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn the meeting, it's,
I move that we adjourn.
1:12 PM. We're adjourning the meeting.
You can stop.
Melissa,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.